Good morning, everyone. Oh, we lost Elizabeth. Hopefully she will be back. She will be back. Hey y'all, it's Tuesday morning, February 10th. I'm Nick Paro, not your dad, joined by my good friend Walter Rhein, our level 36 magic user. Good morning, Walter. Welcome again, everyone, to Sick of This Shit Publications. This is Notes of the Week, and we are joined by special guest Elizabeth Raven, professor out of Venezuela, friend, and someone I've gotten to meet a couple times. And I'm so excited to welcome you on to have a wonderful discussion today with us. Elizabeth, good morning. Do you mind introducing yourself a little bit for the audience so they know who you are?
Okay. You know, that's the worst question for me because I'm kind of so many things in my whole life. You know, I was an architect. Sometimes I'm still are. I was a professor. Sometimes I do, but I'm an artist too, and kind of a amateur filmmaker, short films and things like that. I'm just very changing person. I know I'm curious. I love learning. So, well, that's who I am.
I love that. Well, I'm glad you're here with us. I'm glad you're here. I'm excited for today. Like, you're an artist and you shared some artwork with us. And I'm so excited to get to showcase the artwork. Walter, do you mind talking for a second and saying hi to everyone? I'm actually going to run to my dining room and go get the actual physical pieces of artwork that I have for mine that I'm going to show the pictures of because they're fun and cute. And perfect. Thank you to Weirdo, your weirdo friend, for the wonderful art idea over the weekend. So I'll be right back.
Wonderful. Oh, Elizabeth, I'm so delighted that you're here. And podríamos conversar un poco en español. Si quieres, creo que es importante hablar en español, escuchar el idioma, escuchar las palabras bonitas, y siempre lo hago con mi familia. Somos una familia multinacional, y mi corazón siempre está en América del Sur. That's why it's just a delight to have you here. And so anytime you want to just use a little Spanish, that is more than welcome in this space.
Okay. Yes, I'm not used to do that in this platform, but I will. Me encanta estar aquí con ustedes. Me encantaría poder hablar más español porque soy mucho mejor en español. Mi inglés no es obviamente tan bueno como mi español, pero lo más importante es que los quiero mucho.
Gracias. Te queremos también. Y cada momento, si hay un momento que quieres expresarse en español, no dudas, lo haces y yo traduzco o lo hacemos así. Es una presentación multicultural hoy día. Gracias a ti.
Okay.
And
I like that.
And being the person who doesn't know Spanish in the chat is I got the gist of it, I think.
Yeah. It's love. All we're talking about
it was love. Yeah, it was all. I got the gist of it because you were. I felt the emotion from it, and the way you were talking, it felt like joyful things you were talking about. The emotional gist was there, and I love that. I like that Spanish is really expressive. I learned French a little bit when I was a kid in high school because I grew up in Vermont, and being near Quebec, it's the best language to learn is French because your neighbors speak French, or Franglish, which is a weird amalgamation. And then I learned German in college, and German is very expressive, but not always in a friendly sounding way.
Yeah.
But Spanish just has a really lilting and like musical quality to it in the way that it can be spoken. I just really like that about Spanish.
Well, in the context of the Super Bowl show too, and that too, like what you were saying there, that show, even if you couldn't understand Spanish, I don't know if you saw it, Elizabeth, the Bad Bunny's performance.
Yeah,
and he was.
I did.
Well, he was very.
I didn't understand the Spanish either. The way he talks is like, some kind of Spanglish. But I liked it. I like the statement. I like it, the symbols.
Yes.
I like it, the rhythm and the colorful thing. I like that Trump was pissed. That's
Yes.
the most that I like.
and Bad Bunny, he's very clear. America means all the countries in South America, all the countries in North America, and Venezuela is America. And he said, and it was a show about inclusion. And he also said, we're not going anywhere. And that's true. And this white supremacy movement in the United States is going to fail because you can't invade. And the fact that this reprehensible administration has embarked on this illegal aggression, attacking your beautiful country, it's heartbreaking. And they're not going to install the American mentality in Venezuela because Venezuela will reject it. South America will reject it because South America exists on love. And this regime is all about hate. So they're going to fail.
Yeah. Yeah. So I liked it. There are some things that I didn't like. Because it's a statement, but it's only that, a statement. It felt good, but who won a lot of money there? Rich people.
Yeah.
The brands that were sponsoring a lot of views that he had.
Yeah.
So we just made more rich, more people.
Yes.
The ones that are already rich.
Yes.
That I didn't like, but it's okay. I am always a half full glass.
Yeah.
So that kind of person. So okay, I keep what I like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I saw an interesting article this morning about representative, I think it was Andy Ogles or something, saying that they're going to launch some sort of investigation, I think it is, into or like they want the DOJ to launch an investigation or something into like lewd behavior as part of like how it was illicit and lewd and like anti-white nationalist values of just boring fucking soak ass. And I use the word soak in the Mormon way of soaking. And if you don't know what that is, it's sex without movement. And they think that's legal if they just soaking is where you sort of insert, but you don't move.
Oh God.
And or like you're on the edge and they like, someone will shake the bed underneath. And it's it's fucking weird. It's weird.
But that Republican,
yes, it is.
That Republican is upset about the
upset
Bad
that it was.
Yeah, but he says nothing about the Epstein files. I mean, it's just sort of like he's flipping out. This fake outrage, this Republican fake outrage, and we have to change our approach to things like this. When a guy has the nerve to get on a pedestal and start complaining about a show, where's the outrage about Kid Rock's show? That's the guy who's singing lyrics about statutory rape. That's the other thing. But in addition to that, this Republican has been silent about the Epstein files. All of a sudden now, this fake outrage, this performative outrage that's only designed to silence decent people, that's really the problem in the United States. And we have to find our voice to call those people out.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And like...
It's if it wasn't sad, it would be funny.
Yeah.
Because it's like they don't care about pedos, but they care about women moving their asses, dancing, So, it's weird.
Elizabeth, I don't know. How are you guys in Venezuela? I mean, I guess this is just a strange, just an overall perspective on the United States and what's going on with the Republicans. I mean, what are your thoughts, especially in the context of these, illegal, unlawful military attacks, but then just everything? I mean, what's your impressions?
Right now? Okay. I gotta tell you, we are fine. We are okay. We're even better in some aspects because, we've been trying to sell our products, oil or whatever we do, and we haven't been able because of the sanctions.
Uh-huh.
And suddenly now we can do it. So we don't really care who buys the oil. If it is the United States, good for us. We need the money, and if everybody who need oil or whatever we do, or produce, uh, we want to sell that. Okay, so in that sense, we're okay. We're not okay with our president kidnapped. Okay, so people are on the streets every day, protesting, asking for them to come back. And but in general, we're fine because we're very stable.
Mhm.
It never went to a confrontation, which was the thing that I feared so much, and most people fear about it. I don't mean even confrontation with the United States. I mean confrontation among Venezuelans, or it's among or between. I don't know. I never know which one to use. Uh, so it didn't happen because 99% of the protests have been Chavistas on the streets asking for the return of their president or our president, and for peace, as we always do. We did it before and January the 3rd, and we do it now. And Delcy Rodriguez, which is now the president in charge, she had a very low profile. She's not very extroverted person. She's mostly shy. So I wasn't sure, and I'm surprised how would she's been doing it.
Mhm.
Even Trump likes her. Probably you have heard that. And so we're in peace, and even though the opposition always tries to take, the opportunity when they feel some vulnerability from the government or from us Chavistas,
Mhm.
uh, it hasn't actually happened. They have tried a
Yeah.
little, but not much actually. So I'm okay, and most of us are okay. We're still in shock, like subconsciously, because
Mhm.
it wasn't an easy day to see. It was
Yeah.
horrible. Every day I hear news stories. Yesterday, I heard the story that broke my heart about a mother who lived in some of the buildings close to the not air base, military base, where supposedly Maduro was taken from, and she was telling us how she had not a baby, her kid, and she was talking to her kid like saying goodbye. She thought that the building was gonna be bombed
Mm.
because they were so close, the explosions, and they were closer and closer,
Mm.
and it actually broke my heart. I've listened stories from my family, and they were like very sad, but a mother saying goodbye to her son.
Mm.
Wow. I'm I'm gonna cry if I keep talking about it, but that's part of the thing. We can't forget. We always forgive, but we can't forget. It's not
Yeah.
a religious thing. It's just the way we are.
Yeah.
We've been subject to so much violence just because we wanted a different project for the country.
Mm-hmm.
That we're kind of used to that. But we're fine. Yeah, surprisingly, we're fine. The country is very stable. We have a lot of hope about finally having the money we need to develop better. We've been growing for the last 3 years continuously. We have every year we are better and better, but it's not enough because we lost like almost 70% of our income because of the sanctions in 2000 and between 18 and 19, around that, maybe 17. That is very hopeful for us to be able to sell our oil, even though it's to the United States. And it's not because we care much. I care because I feel like I'm helping Trump.
Yeah.
And that's horrible. I know it's better for my country to sell our oil, but as soon as we sell it to the United States, he will take advantage of that. Because he will use that for the things that he wants to do, for the production he wants to up or create, for the industries. And I hate that. Yeah. You're going to need to forgive us, but that's the only thing we can do. And that's the right thing to do as a country. We need to accept that we are selling our oil to use that money to be better, to improve our conditions, to try to be more self-sufficient than we are. So I think that's how I feel. Yeah, it's very hard for me.
Yeah. I was going to say, yeah, I mean, the United States, this is just the colonizer mentality. Venezuela by right. And it's been, when I was there in around 2006, and even then there were issues with the money. And like Venezuela has these huge oil reserves. By right, they should be able to sell their oil, develop their country as they wish. And they have been opposed from doing that by actions like the United States. And American citizens have to recognize what our country does. We are inhibiting the development of other countries throughout the world. And even in this country, I wrote an article years ago because when they started to put the indigenous populations on reservations, they put them on the worst possible land. And as a result, at one point, indigenous populations had 20% of the nation's oil reserves. And at that point, Congress changed the laws saying that they don't have a right to that. And so the populations of the United States are among the poorest people in this country. When by right, they should have had control over 20% of America's oil. Venezuela, by right, should have control over their oil, be free to sell it wherever they want. The United States opposes that. And so this comes down to that argument of wealth. Because in the United States, we are groomed and indoctrinated and conditioned to just revere wealth. But the reality is the wealth is always stolen. It's taken. I mean, we inflict our power upon countries like Venezuela and the indigenous populations in the United States. And it's just it's infuriating. And then we pretend it doesn't happen. And like Elizabeth said, we can forgive, but we're not going to forget. But they try to force us to forget too. They do these aggressions against humanity, against human dignity, against the sovereignty of various states. And then we pretend we erase that history because all of a sudden it makes us feel bad about ourselves, is what they say. Well, we have to insist that these stories are told. We can't have equality unless there is wealth equality, not just in our nation, but in the whole world. We can't have peace unless that's the case. And countries should be allowed to distribute and use their resources as they wish. So we can't pretend it's not happening.
Agreed.
Yeah, yeah, I agree totally. Yeah, that's the way it should be. I hope it's the way it will be someday. I hope so.
Yes.
And I've been hearing it a lot from other creators too, and other folks who talk about this in our space, is that this is the last dying gasps of white supremacy and American imperialism, and that's okay. And that's okay. Like, it's okay that American imperialism can come to an end. We don't need to imperialize or colonize or take over we don't need empire in the US. It doesn't really work. We're not really good at it. To be totally honest, we're pretty bad empire builders. Like, it's as Courtney says in our chat, the extinction burst of white supremacy and these ideologies. The problem is they're the ones in charge right now, so we have to deal with the consequences of their actions, and they're pretty bad right now. They want to strip resources from others. They care about corporate greed over human dignity and life. We can see that with Andy Ogles and the way he responded to the Bad Bunny concert, like we talked about. Instead of enjoying the celebration of life and culture and the beauty and the wedding that happened during the halftime show, and just the incredible like food celebration and artwork celebration that was in it. It was a cultural celebration across the Americas.
Yeah.
And
it was.
And like I used it yesterday, I think I'm going to start calling ourselves staters. Like I learned in Panama about those of us from the US, is we're not Americans. We're all Americans. If we're in the Americas, if we're from the Americas, we're all Americans. However, I'm a stater because I live in the United States, and that's what a lot of people refer to us as. And it's okay that we maybe refer to ourselves that way too. We get off our high horse and we change our language subtly without inflicting pain upon ourselves. Like, it's okay to just say I'm a stater instead of saying I'm an American or I'm the American. Well, you're not. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of other Americans out there.
I used to call you Asians. I just read that from somebody and I liked it. And yesterday I was reading, or not, it wasn't reading, it was watching a Mexican, Brazilian, US guy called Diego Rusarin. I love him. He's a communist, absolutely. But he talks a lot about how the language doesn't necessarily change the reality, but it's the reality that changed the language, and so it's like, once you realize that you are not America, but part of North America, then you can decide to, change the name. According to him, I agree, but, it's a theory. It's the material reality what changes the language or the ideology, it's like he was talking about casualty. Casualty is the okay, casualidad. He was talking about the show, Bad Bunny show, and he was like, okay, it's not like this will change anything, because a show doesn't change the reality. This show is product of a reality. Is if he hadn't seen his father like losing the house and be segregated and things like that, probably he wasn't. He wouldn't be what he is now, and he wouldn't like write lyrics like the ones he writes now. So now you say you will name people from the United States the other way, and that's because your mind, has changed. The
Yes.
reality there has changed.
Yes.
I
That
really
needs to,
believe that.
and that needs to take place on so many levels among staters, as we've just said, but just like too, this idea of the free market. And I'm so relieved to hear, Elizabeth, that your day-to-day life has kind of stabilized to some extent, and I'm pleased to hear that they're not, for example, shortages of food or water or things like that. As you seem to say, you said you're okay,
Nothing.
and I think a lot of that
Yeah.
shows just how it's false. This warfare mentality that this regime has, trying to inflict by force your viewpoint on the world, will fail. You cannot do it, and it's just a waste of resources. And the United States needs to stop wasting so much money on a military, which is essentially a gigantic subsidy for the oil industry. It is not a free market.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing in the United States. Everybody likes to talk about, oh, free market. It's not free market if we spend $1 trillion on a military that then goes and stops countries from being able to sell their oil wherever they want. All of this is a lie, and staters have to recognize so much of what they've been told about their country, so much about what they've been told to have pride in, is all based on a lie. And yes, once we start peeling back those layers, we start to get to the point where we can reconstruct a society, a nation that contributes to the whole world as a community of human beings, rather than this, cruel identity that we've embraced since the inception of our country.
Yeah.
One of the things that I know Walter, you and I like to talk about a lot, and is just breaking down the myth of America, and the white supremacy myth or these foundational myths that are created to erase the true history of America and erase what we've done, good or bad. And we've done both. We have done good and bad. We don't ever like to talk about the bad that we do because it hurts our feelings. It does. Like Walter says, it makes us feel bad. Well, too bad. Maybe we shouldn't have done those things, and we should learn a lesson from it so we don't do them again, because then we won't feel bad. Now you know, so you can grow. So let's grow forward from it instead of falling backwards, because American exceptionalism is the root of almost all of this evil that we're currently facing. I'm not saying all of it, because Russian exceptionalism is its own thing, but I'm not Russian, so I can't really speak on what the Russians are really doing or what Putin is doing. But I'm an American. I can speak on what America is doing, and our American founding myth of exceptionalism, manifest destiny, founding Mormonism, which is a white nationalist church which went across the nation genociding the native population to go and find Zion, which they built in Utah while genociding the native population and raping and pillaging their way across the nation with fake golden tablets and fraud. Sounds a lot like our current president. But that aside, is like, I'm happy that we get to celebrate the joys of our similarities and our differences in these discussions. Like, Elizabeth, you and I probably wouldn't agree on every political theme. And I'm glad we wouldn't. Walter and I don't agree on every political theme. We challenge each other. And that's the important part, is like we grow together and we learn about this. But I also like the cultural growth. Like, again, I'll refer back to the Super Bowl because it just happened. Like, they tried to do a counter programming show with white Christian nationalist rock country bands like Lee Greenwood and Kid Rock. They wanted to sing about statutory rape and God blessing America.
Yeah.
is what they sang about, like to try and counter program.
Weird.
4 million Americans watched it compared to what, like
Yeah.
70 something million Americans who watched the Super Bowl halftime show, because
Including
Americans,
Trump.
yeah, because Americans predominantly like culture and like things that are fun. And my wife and I were having this discussion last night a little bit too, and it fits into this, is what happened to all the good Christian rock bands? Like, I remember growing up with Christian rock bands that didn't suck, that weren't trying to overtly tell you that they were better than you, or that you needed to feel bad about being a woman in some way, and that, like, all the overt shit. Like, I grew up with POD and even Creed, which is very gospel-y, doesn't push like hatred in the lyrics, at least in the old stuff. Or like all of these like good Christian rock bands, where'd they go? And my theory on it is, they're boring. It's because they don't like to celebrate artwork. They don't celebrate culture. They don't celebrate anything in their cultural identities, even their own. Like, Norse culture is beautiful, has beautiful culture in it. Like his historic culture, what they would call pagan cultures in Europe are beautiful, but people refuse to celebrate them because they call them witchcraft or whatever like demonizing name they use to it, because Christians are boring. Like the fundamentalist Christians specifically are just boring, and they suck, and they don't want culture, and they don't want art. And why I'm saying this is because I want to lead us into our artwork of the week too, that we're going to showcase. But go ahead before we do that.
I was just going to say, when I lived in Peru, I found the Christianity I found in Peru was so much more beautiful than what I'd ever found in the United States. And I kind of wanted Elizabeth's thought about that, because the white American Christianity is different. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's what I was. I'm sorry, I was thinking about, because Venezuelans are kind of religious people in a way that 90-something% are Catholics. But Catholics is different than Protestants or
Roman
even
Catholics,
Christians. So because we have this thing that we can sin, and then we just go to the guy in the church and he forgives us, and that's it. And then we can sin again. So it's like purity is not the real thing. It's about love. It's about caring. And I know you do that too, okay? But it's a different approach. But ours have a bad thing, or has a bad thing too. And it's like, our priests, they cannot marry. So that's why we have pedos,
Yeah.
And that I don't like. I would have liked very much that they could marry like everyone else, because if you are married to God, okay, that's not enough, not for a guy. So it's not for a woman either, but we're not priests, because that's the other bad thing. We don't have female priests, only men, because it's Catholic. But it's different. You can, I don't know, it's very mixed with popular traditions and dances. I think pretty much like your black church, in that sense, more joyful, less punishment around it. And that I like. It just remind me that my parents, they were Catholics, and I always, not always, first 17 years or maybe 15 more or less, I thought that they were really Catholics, because we were going to church every Sunday. And I didn't like to go to church, but I was always part of the group that sang. I mean, we had a group, uh, and we played guitar, sang. It was like the youth mass, and it was because I was in Catholic schools
Mm.
from the very beginning. Elementary
Yeah.
school, high school, everything. And then, as soon as I graduated, we never went to church anymore. So I realized that my parents didn't like to go to church either. It was the school that
Mm.
forced them to do it. And so I never, ever, ever again went to church
Oh.
because I didn't like it. I never liked it. I just did it because I thought that was the thing. It was like, okay, I have to do it because this is my family. What can I
Yeah.
do? And we should have not do that. We could have saved that time because they didn't want to. We didn't want to.
Yeah.
And we all did
I
it.
thinking of that's your story, that brings to mind like what happened in my life was my dad is French Catholic. My mom is Jewish, and so um, we went to synagogue. We opted to go to synagogue
Okay.
as children, or as a family, until my grandfather died when I was 5. And then the first time that the synagogue contacted us after his death was to ask my mom to donate money. And yeah, he wasn't from that synagogue, but we were, and they knew he had died because my mom isn't a quiet person and makes sure things are known when they need to be. And the next thing they asked for
Yeah.
was money, and we left. And we had the option to go then to church. We had the option to, if we wanted to. We were going to Saturday school at the synagogue. We were learning about Israel and the history of Judaism, and I was going down some of that pipeline of just learning and the what could have been possibly indoctrination towards Israel. I will definitely admit that there was a heavy focus on learning specifically about Israel and revering it in Saturday school that I remember. Sorry about the dog bells going off in the background if they get loud. I'm hoping my merch delivery comes in for my own stuff. I got a Notes of the Week coffee mug coming in.
Nice.
So I'll be able to point to, if anyone noticed, pivot point for a second. Come
Oh, great.
check out the Sick of This shop. There's new merch. Notes of the Week has some merch in there, with Walter's fist face and my peace face on the back of a sweatshirt that says "Now you know, so you can grow,"
Nice.
with a beautiful piece of artwork that my friend drew. It's a vase with like a skull and almost like a little sugar skull inside it, similar to the ones I have up there, but more plain, built into a vase growing. And I think y'all will love it. So check out the Sick of This shop.
Yeah.
But anyway, like the shit.
Saturday school you were talking about?
Saturday school. We got lucky because once after my grandfather, and I say this looking back, we got lucky, is we never went to church again. We never went to synagogue after that. We never went to church again. Not because my parents stopped believing in their personal faith, but
Yeah.
because we realized that the institution itself was the broken part.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, there's a problem here, and I don't want to go into another one where they're just going to ask us for money and not really care about our family if something happens.
Yeah.
And so we use that time on Sundays or Saturdays or Fridays for ourselves, for our family. With the woof woofs in the background. We actually got a dog when I was a kid, even though my dad said he would never get a dog. That's a story for another day.
Oh, good.
But your story reminded me of that, of like, we got to accidentally, we got to be free of some of the church's indoctrination, not the religious piece, not the personal religious piece or the personal like beliefs in God, but the institutional side we got separated from, and I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah, not my case, because they made me an agnostic. For
Ah,
women, it's different because the
yes.
Bible
Hold on, I'll be right back. My
is
dogs are
horrible
yelling
for
at me.
women.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I kept fighting with the priests or the nuns about
Yep.
the Bible because we had to study the Bible at the school because it was a Catholic school,
Yeah.
and it was a fight after another fight. So we had to be submissive.
Yeah.
We had to be mothers and nothing else, and to take
Yeah.
care of our husbands. And I was like, okay, that's not me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And
And
yeah.
then I didn't like it at all. And so they made me kind of an agnostic.
Yeah.
It was like they weren't very coherent, so they transmitted that to me, and I was a teenager.
Yeah.
But but things go around, and then my son, who was created in a house with a mother agnostic and a father atheist, and now he's 28 years old and he's a believer.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
Yeah, because
I
we didn't force him. He didn't even
Yeah.
make
yeah.
the first communion. He was like 10 years old, and he said, "I'm not gonna do it."
Yeah.
And we said, "Okay, you
And
won't."
my thing is like I'm fairly agnostic. I don't really I don't care if there is or
Yeah,
isn't. I'm going to live my life no matter what in a good way.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm not forcing anything down my kids' throats.
Mhm.
Just like you is like if my kids choose to have a personal faith in God, that's their choice. If they choose to believe
yeah,
that there's a God, that's their choice. I'm not going to tell them no because it's my choice to believe that there might not be one because I don't
Yeah.
have direct evidence that there is. Because I can come up with the same theory about a God and call it the infinitesimal tea kettle in the sky that orbits
Yeah.
between Earth's orbit and Mars, and you can't prove me wrong that there isn't one. Just
Yeah.
because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there.
I
yeah,
What
want
so
yeah,
like my kids have that choice, and I don't want to force it on them. And I'm glad my parents gave me that opportunity
yeah.
to learn and think for myself and make the decision because I'm not religious in any way. My
Yeah.
parents have their personal belief in God, and I think that's wonderful because it
yeah,
makes them better people. And that's where it lies: is does your religion or does the belief make you a better, add to your personhood and make you better? If it takes away, you're in the wrong faith.
Yeah. I want to
yes,
add something too, real quick. Is just that nobody is saying that what's going on in the United States anymore is just as much a religious war as it is a racial war. In South America, is very
yeah,
strongly Roman Catholic. All the immigrants who come up from South America, they're all Roman Catholic. Our corrupt president, this is a Protestant white nationalist movement. And in the media, nobody's talking about the fact that every single
Mhm.
person that ICE is rounding up and holding in a detention center right now is a Roman Catholic. This is an assault on Christianity. What's going on? The government is waging a religious war right now. Where are our religious leaders speaking out about that? And that's why when it said, well, religion makes you a better person, that's why I'm like, I don't think it does, because nobody's speaking out. This isn't a national discourse. It makes me really upset. And I'm saying that as I want to encourage the good ones out there, find your voice, because I know
Mhm.
there are good ones out there. That's another thing.
Tim
And I
Whitaker
know there's
is a
yes,
great
seed.
example. April Ajoy are two great examples. They have a show on Lincoln Square that they do weekly, and they've had a podcast for a while. Those two,
Good.
um, they're called they work or they. I know Tim is I believe a founder, and I don't want to misquote him on his ownership level of it. He is a major part of the New Evangelicals, which is a very active, progressive group of evangelicals who aren't trying to proselytize. And I think
Yeah.
that's really the big difference is they're not trying to force their religion down my throat. They're expressing the beauty of it, and they're doing, I would assume some of them are the reason why all of those pastors and priests Oh, thanks, Evan. Tim is the founder. Is a founder at the New Evangelicals, and from what I've heard, they're an amazing space. And Tim, and that's the type of Christianity that I wish we had in America. That's the type of and I say Christianity, not Catholicism, because those are very different. They have segmented themselves. And America, like you said, Walter, wants a very Protestant view on Christianity and a very Presbyterian and very ultra-conservative white view on Christianity. They want a theonomy, not a theocracy, which means they want old Bible Christian law, old Israeli Christian law, not Catholic.
They
don't want
Catholicism.
Yeah, they want it intermingled into civil law, but it's only for Christianity on the very white nationalist Presbyterian Protestant side, like Baptist side. I'm sorry, that's where it comes from. And it's not, for the most part, it's not, there is a lot of it in Catholicism too, in America. We will not gloss over groups like Opus Dei and infiltrating groups that are very powerful, pretty much white men who go around raping and abusing people, because that's the MO of powerful white men, are rapists and abusers. And so we have to break that system and openly acknowledge it. And it's okay to talk about it, because we don't have to be that in America. We have a conscious choice, and people are just choosing to be bad. People are choosing the easy option because their religious leader or their faith leader told them that's how it is. Well, we went to Iraq and Afghanistan, and I was out there, and I went to Afghanistan, and you know what I learned is the same thing happened there that is happening here. We just projected the fact that they were making terrorists in schools and religious or ultra right-wing religious groups in Iraq and Afghanistan. We turned them into that. Guess what? We exported that. That's an American thing to export. We gave them that because we do it here. Our Bible schools, our Bible camps, our Christian summer schools and camps, the amount of time that you have to go and spend at your churches is indoctrination, is the same fundamentalist indoctrination that we claimed Islam did to create terrorists and start a jihad against America.
Yeah.
That's a white nationalist American thing, is to create those martyrs and to indoctrinate them through religious means. That being said, we will remember that the origin of Christianity is through Judaism and is a Middle Eastern religion that took over Europe through the Holy Roman Empire and dominated the country brutally, taking down all of the old pagan religions. It's wonderful that South America and South Americans and non-North America, or non-North Americans, north of Mexico, south of Canada, the staters, anyone outside the states basically has the Christianity or the Catholicism that has grown in South America. Yes, I will admit I don't know enough about it, but from the sound of it, and from what Walter, you have talked about, and Elizabeth, it's come with a much different approach to how it wants to be part of the community. It's like the Black churches, where they are beautiful, where they sing, they have culture, they have passion, they have community. And it's more about the community and the passion and the culture than it is sometimes about the God part. And in my mind, that's, I think, what white Christians missed out on in the church, is because they felt they had to suppress everything else. And so I want to get to some artwork here. Because this has been beautiful artwork. This has been a wonderful start to our 2-hour discussion. And Elizabeth, if you cannot stay for the whole time, that is okay. But I would love to have you for the full 2 hours.
you tell me. I have the time, but I don't know if you
Okay.
want me to.
Perfect.
You're
Perfect.
welcome. You're welcome.
You're more than welcome. This has been such a wonderful discussion,
Thank you.
and I want to get into some artwork because, yeah, the halftime show, Bad Bunny, was a celebration of not just Puerto Rican culture, but the Americas, the
Yeah.
full
Yes.
breadth of the Americas. It included the Staters. It included our Central American counterparts. It included our South American counterparts. It included our North American counterparts in Canada, our
Yes.
friends, all the way down from the tip to the tip, depending on which
Yes.
way you look at it in
Yeah.
space, like upside down and right side right or whatever. Like it went from one end to the other of the Americas, and it was beautiful. And
Yeah.
we like to celebrate artwork here too. So I'm gonna start with you, Walter,
good.
because you sent this one in, and it's actually not my profile picture.
Yeah.
But I want you to discuss this one. I love this fun piece of art.
Yeah, this has been so fun. My daughter's been doing profile pics of my friends, the creators, and this is the one she asked for just a art tablet. I got her this relatively inexpensive art tablet. She's been just making it, and she traces out the faces, and so she did Nick's face, and then I just changed it to make it like the Rosie the Riveter background. The top is the same yellow from the Rosie the Riveter background. The orange is the Substack, so I thought I'd combine that, and I did my best to I think we just need these positive messages, right? Because I mean, and I think Elizabeth was telling us, I mean, your culture will endure. They can transgress against us, and we can forgive, but we won't forget, and we're going to still be here, And so every time we start falling down and feeling depressed, no, we can do it, rise back up. We can meet this challenge. Go ahead.
I want to say something. I don't know if you noticed, but that's our sign, Maduro sign.
Yeah. What is the sign for?
The first picture we watched of him when they took him he arrived to New York.
Wow.
He did this.
Maduro.
And, Maduro, because this is our sign
for Venezuela.
From Chavez. It's like to victory always. We live and we'll win. That's what it means.
That's
I love the positive. I love the positivity in the message, for that, because it's peace for us.
Well, that just happened by accident, because Nick just happened to be like, "Hey, here's my picture," and it was just so. It's lovely that you're on. We had serendipity too, because when we scheduled this talk, I didn't realize it would be right after the Bad Bunny performance, so that this topic of South America and Venezuela, and continue, Elizabeth, just to tell us about your culture as we go through here and the things you want. Maybe since Nick stepped away, what are the things you want America to know about Venezuela? Because it's like we just don't get the accurate information here.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of things that contradicts the idea that we are those underdeveloped people that propaganda says we are. First of all, we are very stable as a country. We haven't had in the last 50 years, not once we have lost an election. Missed an election. We have elections. First was every 5 years, and then after the new constitution is every 6 years. And every time we've had that, even when they tried to make a coup several times, they couldn't, so we didn't have the rupture of our term. So we are not unstable politically. We have problems the last years, 20 years or more, but it's not about stability. It's about confrontation. It's like a model that didn't want to die and a model that was trying to, born. And, still happening. But another thing that I commented to Nick when he asked me about what I wanted to talk about is, for example, this problem that you have now with the women vote. Oh, I'm one gender and others, but especially women. And I never understood why there in the United States, when a woman marry,
Yeah. Yeah.
suddenly is another person with another last name,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah.
we are the underdeveloped, and we don't do that.
Yes.
I,
Yeah.
my ID still says that I'm single. If I don't want to change it, I don't want to. I can change it and say that I'm married, but I can keep my last name
Yes.
always. From my generation to now,
Yeah.
there is, I don't know, one woman that puts the name of the husband beside,
Yes.
because we never substituted. It's like I could be Elizabeth Raven de Lopez, you know? So I'm still his property if I do that, but I'm not erased, I still
Yes.
can keep my last name.
Yes.
And so now you have that problem that if I married 3 times and my name now is a different one, then maybe I cannot vote because these
Yeah.
people will approve that save act, and
Yeah.
it will be very difficult. And we don't have that problem. We have one ID, the only one. We use that to vote, and it, it has our name, the one that we were born with, and that's it.
Yes.
And yeah, and I think we are more liberal than you are
Mhm.
as a culture,
I think so.
even though you are supposed to be the developed country.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, that name, we didn't put that name, no? It's the
Yeah.
developed countries just decided that we were underdeveloped.
Yes.
And but the main thing about us is that we are a happy uh, country.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And even though there is so much about the supposedly, you know, the propaganda that our government keeps like pushing, and what's the propaganda? The propaganda is we want peace, we don't want war, and we love you, you Asians. We will never hate you. We don't like your president, but that's okay because you being blind for a long time. You didn't know that they were punishing us for
Mhm.
whatever reason they wanted to. It's not your fault, even though it's your fault to vote for them. If you are not informed enough,
Yeah.
it ends not being your fault. It's
Yeah.
like you have all this propaganda around. So we are bad people. We need to be, put on the line because we are attacking you. We are horrible persons, and then you believe it
Yes.
until you don't. Until
Yeah.
you are lucky. I feel very good now here in Substack because I found so many people that know that we are not that horrible people that you
Yes.
are so.
Well, I want to add too, because my wife gets all upset. My wife is from Peru. And yeah, I mean, they have all these horrible things that they say. Oh, it's underdeveloped, it's third world. And it's like, that's just a lie that the United States tells so that when they go and invade and they disrupt those countries and they remove democratically elected presidents, that's their excuse. So it's all lies. And I wish
Yeah,
Americans, staters, would start to recognize this. People are afraid. I mean, South America is just you just fly down there. It's one of the best trips you can take. It's inexpensive, it's close. Go see for yourself what South America's life is like. It's wonderful down there. And yes, it's all. I've had people come, like they met my wife for the first time, and they're like, "Does Does the village where you're from have cars? I mean, they're saying just ignorant things. Yes.
Yeah.
But they've been told the propaganda. Look, Americans, you have been propagandized. Americans, you do not know the truth about the world. All these assumptions that people have about South America. And so it's so wonderful to have Elizabeth here and tell us, yes, I mean, we have great things. We have great structures. We have great political systems that we've built. We have extreme affection for each other. We have all the things. They have, universal health care in many of the places that most of them have it. I'd have to double check. Yeah. And just like, the external influence, like if they do have problems in South America, a lot of the times it's because of that external influence of the United States sabotaging their ability to progress even more. So that is on us. But the other thing you said I want to address is, yes, I never even thought to ask my wife to take my last name just because we were going through the process of immigration. And I'm just like, well, look at all these documents. They're going to discredit these documents. Sometimes they switch around the name. Sometimes they put little different things here and there. Sometimes, they use like a hyphenated last name in Peru, but some of her documents only had her father's last name and not both. So I was just like, this is already a nightmare. I'm not going to add in the additional wrinkle of throwing my name on there. So now we have another set of documents. But it's like, that was clear to me back in 2009 that it's like, this is just nonsense. But then when it came time to have our kids, we made that decision. She's like, well, of our two names, where are our kids going to endure more harassment in the United States if they have my name or yours? So they took mine. And so we made our decisions along this just by completely practical means. And it's just really kind of unfortunate. But I mean, people do have to awaken. All these things we're told about and it ties into our religious indoctrination like Nick was talking about, where they start saying through years and years and years in grade school, and like Elizabeth said, your job as a woman is to be the partner and to just be a wife and nothing else. And it gets to the point where, then we make it normalized part of our culture that they take the name. And then we're today where they're using the SAVE Act to try and strip women of their right to vote, which I know Nick is going to talk about more. So I'll turn it over to Nick.
That's going to be our that's probably going to be the rest of our second half of the show, is pretty much talking about the SAVE Act and women's right and transgender people's right and gay people's right and LGBTQ people in general's right to vote, or anyone who's not straight white male, pretty much, or maybe some other cultures, but it's predominantly around straight white males being able to vote and nobody else. If you're not a male, you're not straight, you're not going to be able to vote. That's what they want. So with Walter's artwork piece in mind is we can do it. We can fight back against that, because independent and new media, the new media sphere that we're creating.
And Rosie the Riveter fighting fascism again. We beat him before. We'll beat him again. We always beat him.
Yeah. And I downloaded and sent the letter from Eric Lulov to both of my senators today, both who are Republican, and whether they listen or not, we'll see. But I'm going to keep sending it because they deserve to hear it every single day. At this point that we care, and we'll get into that more, but I want to keep our artwork going. My next one, these ones are from me. This was an idea from my friend, your weirdo friend and my friend. They gave me an incredible idea to create little birds out of toilet paper rolls, old toilet paper rolls. So here's my little birdie.
Okay.
He's got his little eye and colored in his feathers on the back and his wings. And so we cut apart and glued together toilet paper rolls. And it took us maybe 20, 30 minutes. This one's my wife's. We each made one, all four of us in my family. This one's my daughter's. It's a red robin and a blue jay split.
Nice.
Okay.
And then my son's, which is sort of a cardinal, reddish orange cardinal. He had fun. We all had fun. It just took like 20 minutes, 30 minutes just to do. Oh. We sat down, we got out our big colored pencil pack or colored marker pack that we have, and we just had a great time. And everyone had fun doing it. Family and by art. The end, like we're in the beginning, everybody else was like, well, I don't know if I really want to do this right now. Like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? And then we did it. And by the end, everybody was smiling. Everybody had a good time. I got to spend time at the table just with my kids. None of us had our devices out. And this is the type of thing that... Oh, that was weird. I can hear myself.
Okay.
What happened?
We're on an echo now. Oh, me too. Oh, no.
Do I? I don't.
Oh, turn it over to Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Oh,
How?
what happened? Okay, well, I'm going to turn it over to Elizabeth. I don't know what happened. Did somebody lose? Did somebody pull up a show? Is everybody hearing an echo in the show, or is it just us? I don't know.
I don't.
But I'm going to turn it over to Elizabeth.
Does somebody has another cell phone there, or I don't know, because that happens when there are two devices on.
I have mine live on my computer. Only Nick has echo. Okay, well, that's good. At least you guys aren't here. I can deal with it myself.
Okay. Sorry.
So go ahead, Elizabeth. Introduce your artwork too.
Okay. Well, the ones on the left, they are in a column in my house. That's the wall of my kids. I mean, when I say mine, they are not mine actually, but the kids of the family. So the first two are my two nieces. The next three are the granddaughters and sons. Yeah. And the last one is the grandson of the woman that worked here for a while, cleaning twice a week. Dillinger is his name, very weird for a Venezuelan kid. And then at the right, those are some of my pieces. I like to do a sculpture. Those are mostly ceramic, not the left one. And as you can see, they are usually women bodies. I love that. Yeah, I don't know why, but
Beautiful.
I do love. Yeah, so that's my table in my living room. I have them there so people can see them.
I'm frustrated by the echo.
Yeah, that's so weird.
You still have the echo.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's only us that has it. Only Walter and I. Nobody else is complaining. See, that's good.
They hear it in the chat, though.
Do they? Oh.
That's bad.
That's bad.
Yeah, why did that
happen? Well, it usually happens to me when there are like two microphones at the same time in the same room. Yeah. That's the only thing I can tell,
I know I don't have two open. That's weird.
Did you check your live stream chat, Nick? Because I
have mine all muted. No, we're using Restream. This is weird that's happened. I've never had it happen this way before.
Yeah, I wish I could help. I can't. I could give you mine, but no.
Let me see what happens if I mute each person.
Okay.
One at a time, because it sounds like, it actually looks like it's coming through yours, Elizabeth.
But how?
Did you have headphones on at one point? Did you have headphones on and then they died?
I don't have headphones. Not at all. I can't use something that I don't have.
That's so weird.
I'm going to turn off my microphone and then on to see.
All right, it's off. Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me, Nick? Yeah, there's no echo now. So Yeah, people are nice in the chat.
Oh, you'll have to turn.
Elizabeth,
You'll have to
back
turn
on.
your.
And
We
now,
can easily do it where when when we're not talking, we mute ourselves. That should work.
okay, I already turned it on. I don't know if again you have the echo.
Yeah, it's coming from yours for some reason. I don't know why.
Well,
And
I
I don't
can
want
dis-
any.
I can disconnect and reconnect if you want to.
Oh, maybe
Sure,
that's
let's
another.
try that.
Huh?
Let's try that. Why not?
Okay. Oh, let's see how. Okay.
That'll give us a second to. Okay.
And while Elizabeth is reconnecting with us, I'm gonna get our notes pulled up
Great.
for the week.
Elizabeth's wonderful. I've been really appreciating this talk, and it's making me remember my time in South America. I just love it, and it's so important to just kind of cover that ground. You know, that just the reality of what the South American life is like. I think too many Americans just don't know. Oh no.
Okay.
It's still
Again?
doing it.
Yeah, there's
It is happening again.
Do you have a set of headphones that you can use, Elizabeth?
Wait. I can look for something. Oh my God, where can I find some? You can keep talking.
Okay. Although we should have you shut off your
I'll,
volume.
I'll mute her. I mute her for now, just to keep the echo down. And we'll unmute when she comes back, and hopefully we can resolve this issue. Because, like you said,
Yeah.
it's been a really good conversation. I really
Well,
enjoy talking to Elizabeth.
We'll just have her raise her hand when she wants to say something. We'll tell her we have to mute her otherwise. Raise your hand. She will. Unmute her. That'll work.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really want to get into our notes of the week. Let's start with yours, Walter, which is, we'll get yours pulled up. That put us on the wrong side. Gosh,
That's okay.
I keep customizing and fixing this, and then it doesn't like customizing me.
Whoa.
We're gonna swap sides here, friends. Walter, bring us in on your note here, my friend.
Yeah, I brought this in mainly because I got so many shares, but I posted, wow, the bots really don't like it when I suggest we need a hand recount of the 2024 election. Let me say it again. We need a hand recount of the 2024 election. And I just want rich guys to make it happen. Let's sign something. Let's pay for it. Hand recounts for vote integrity. But what I find is in a lot of times
Can you hear us, Elizabeth?
people and they think that
Okay.
that's something that's not. There we go.
Do you hear me?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no echo, so I think we're good.
Yeah, no echo, and we're good.
Okay.
Perfect.
So let me just continue to talk. This got shared so many times. It shows that a lot of people are really frustrated. I've been saying it. Everybody's already saying, well, they're going to steal the midterms. It's like, but then you say, yeah, they stole 2024, and people start coming at you like, oh, it's an election integrity thing. Like you're not allowed to even ask. We're just supposed to take them at face value, what they say happened. And we just don't have election integrity in the United States. We don't have a party in the Democrats that defends our right to vote. We gave them the power to stop fascism in 2020. They had all the power they needed. And every time they lose, every time things go bad, the Democrats blame the voters, even though they don't come to defense of our vote. And I mean, every country in the world has to deal with election integrity. It's always a question. We should be doing forensic audits of every election. That should just be baked into the system. We should be demanding hand recounts. But the main reason I just wanted to share this is because it got shared so many times. And what that tells me is that a lot of people do believe this. They're worried about this. So let's speak out about this. There's a lot of pressure even from establishment Democrats that they say we can't be the party of election denial. This isn't. We should be the party of election integrity. We should demand forensic audits, demand recounts, so that going into 2026 midterms, they know that if they do something nefarious, they will be caught. We have a situation in place to catch them. So that was my spiel on that.
I think you're right. I think you're right that we need to. It's just like everything else that this administration has done, or this regime has done, is that they have poisoned the well of discussion around everything. They've taken the CIA's conspiracy theory Foundation, where they created or demonized the idea of a conspiracy and a theory and turned it into something that was evil, and they made it so that recounting elections or asking for election security and election integrity post voting, not just pre-voting, but post voting, because they say we have the most secure elections. Okay, well, that just means pre-voting,
Yeah.
nothing should be able to happen to it. But the act of democracy is trust but verify. It's trust
Yes.
but verify. Like, I can trust that the 2020 election, let's say the 2020 election, was
Yes.
not stolen because it has been verified by multiple forensic audits, by multiple attempts to showcase the data. The 2024 election has not been verified post data counting because there are irregularities. And do I think that means that there was active voter manipulation and ballot manipulation? Maybe
Yeah. We
on
don't have
isolated
evidence.
levels, but I don't know.
Maybe not.
I cannot say that it didn't happen.
Yep.
And
Yep.
voter manipulation happens before the ballot box too. It's not just vote counting or voting. It's
Yeah.
the act of your preacher or your rabbi or your priest saying, you vote this way or you're the devil, or you're voting with the devil, or you're evil, or you are falling to the evil whims. Well, democracy demands free and fair elections, and part of a free and fair election is voter integrity afterwards, verifying and validating the results were true and accurate. We demand it for other countries to happen. We should demand it for ourselves. And I agree.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't stolen, even if he won legitimately, I want to know that if he won legitimately, that he won legitimately. I want to have that data saying yes or no, because then that can shut down discussions or create discussions that are necessary. Because if it was stolen, that needs to be discussed. If it wasn't stolen during the actual election and we just voted stupidly, that also needs to be discussed, but it's a slightly different conversation.
Yes.
And we want to know which one to have, because that's really the important conversation.
Elizabeth, go ahead.
Elizabeth, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to tell you about our system of voting, because since your problem is the doubt about the results, I'm going to tell you what we do. Even though probably you listen that are rigged and whatever, you listen, well, that's not true. And I'm going to tell you why. We have, our vote is totally digital, okay? It's not manual at all, okay? But there is a thing that every person after voting, the machine gives the person a paper, a little paper this size, okay? So you can read it, and we are almost like 95% literacy, alphabet. We're not analphabet. So people read the paper and it says, you voted for whoever. Okay, I voted for him. I put the paper in the box, and there are, let's say in a voting center, there are 8, let's say nine tables where people vote. Okay, because that's the way we do. There is a table, they take your ID, they give you permission to go to the voting machine, and you vote. And then you put the paper inside. And at the end of the night, because usually it ends at night, randomly in each center, there are chosen, you have to choose 51% of the boxes. So in the case of the 9 tables, okay, 5 boxes are going to be open publicly with the witnesses of all the parties involved and all the people that can get into the room where that's happening. And they will count each one of these papers. And then they will compare the result with the act, the paper, I don't know how you call that, the thing that the machine, the receipt. Okay. So people check, and let's say the machine says there is one more vote. So there is a notebook where the people in charge of the table where you vote, they check the notebook, and it says, oh, there was one guy who was protesting the election, and he just he took the thing and he didn't put it in the box, and he just throw it away. Okay, so that's the vote, and then it is transmitted to a central machine. We do have a centralized system, but every witness in the place, I mean, every party has his receipt. So good. It's not like I can tell you there were 400 votes for me if your paper says, oh no, there were 200 only. So it's done the same night. But even though it happens, I remember once the opposition said the election was rigged. So we have to count the votes, and each of the 10 million or whatever million votes were counted in a place with a 24-hour, transmission on TV. There was a TV channel just for that, and it wasn't rigged. It took like a month, because it's not the same when you do it in each center. It's very, very quick, because you have there 1,000 votes. Okay, you can do it in an hour or two, and that's it. But still, we have that chance. People can say, I want to make a recount, and it can be a total recount of the whole thing in the whole country. So when people say that, oh, our system rigged your elections because the same company worked here in our original digital system, and then they work in some states in the United States, well, the system is not the same, because they don't have this checking at the end of the day. I think that's very important, because people just get home and says, okay, I know that that's the person who won this election. Of course, there is propaganda, and then if you still want to, with the help of your friend, the United States, in this case, Trump, in any case, Biden or whoever, then they will say it's rigged, but they won't ask for the checking, because they know they will lose. They just say it, and they say it, and they say it, and they say it, and the truth becomes true many times. I mean, a lie becomes a true, you know. But maybe you need to. I don't think you should centralize it, because it's a different country for you. It's not the same culture. You are not used to that. But maybe you should have that kind of way of checking the same day.
I don't mind non-same day checking. That's not a problem for me. I think the idea of the discussing or having visibility of the counting, like manual counting, should be a thing. There should be a paper receipt for every vote cast. Whatever it may be. If it's you mailed in a vote, you get a letter back. Here's your receipt. Your vote was counted. And you get, if you And if you never get one back after sending in your mail, you get to go down to or you get to call, or there's an easy way that you can go, hey, I voted. Where's my receipt?
Yes.
Provide it back to me. And the government should have to facilitate that process. For the states, for us, it's harder because we don't federalize our elections, which is good. Because, at least right now, it's probably really good that we don't have a federalized election system. I think the 50 states should have a unified, I think the feds should provide a framework for elections that the states can adopt in regulatory ways on how to make it easy and safe and easy and transparent. But states should be it should be transparent as hell. Like, that's the big key to me, is it should be the most transparent thing we do. Like, voting is your voice. And that's where my note comes in here, is if you're an American and a male, and this should be if you're a stater and a male, it's your duty to discuss the SAVE Act, Safeguard American Voter Eligibility, every chance you get. If someone doesn't know what it is, tell them it's a Jim Crow law aimed at taking their right to vote away. If they don't care, make it a fucking problem for them. Your vote is your voice, and they want to silence it. Do not go quietly into that dark night, and do not give up without a fight. Every stater, especially male staters, need to be discussing the SAVE Act. We need to be emailing and calling our legislators. We need to be making it a problem. Because here's the first thing. I don't want to manage my wife's vote. I don't want to manage my daughter's vote. I don't want to manage my son's vote. I want to manage mine. And that's it. I want to vote for who I want to vote for. I want my wife to be able to vote for who she wants to vote for. When my daughter is old enough to vote, I want her to be able to vote for who she wants to vote for. When my son is old enough to vote, I want him to be able to vote for who he wants to vote for. Just like I want Walter and his family and his children to vote for who they want. Just like if Elizabeth was in America, in the US, in the States, I would want her to vote for who she wanted to vote for, because it's a personal choice. Just like religion is a personal choice, voting is a personal choice. And you cannot go quietly into this, because they want to bring Jim Crow back. They want to bring it worse. They want to bring us back to the 1800s. They've said that multiple times. They want to bring us back to a time when women were barefoot in the house, cooking, cleaning, and making babies, and they were vessels.
When America was great, according to them.
When America was great, and the only people who could own land or property or anything were white men. That's what they want. That's why I bring it, and I personally try really hard to bring it back now to slave times, to the Confederacy, to tie everything back to the Confederacy and to the history of America. Because Nazis got their cues from American fascism. We helped inspire fascism around the world. Just because fascism started in Italy, technically, on the definition, doesn't mean that fascism wasn't there before. Just because we don't call the Confederacy a fascist union that was trying to be formed, or a fascist state, just because we don't call them that doesn't mean they weren't. They were a fascist group. They wanted to impose authoritarianism and regressive policies that grouped people together and promoted genocide and the othering of everyone that was not a specific group. That's pretty much fascism, isn't it? Like, that's the definition of fascism. And so what's the difference between Confederate fascism and Nazi fascism? It's all Jim Crow. It's all Confederate fascism. And I'm going to keep talking about it in that way, because I think that hurts people's feelings more on the right, and picks up and perks up their ears when you remind them that the Confederacy was fascist. They don't like that, and that's okay.
They've created the entire lost cause narrative, which they teach in schools, that tries to falsely present the Confederacy as, they try to falsely make them noble, And it's called the lost cause narrative. You pick up a history textbook in the South and it will be in there saying that these people had honor. They didn't. It was the only nation they tried to found a nation based on the right to own human beings as slaves. The only nation in history that was tried to be founded on that. Just deplorable.
That was a founding principle. Like, I think that was their second Article of Confederation or something. That was the only thing right to own slaves. Like, that's what they wanted.
It wasn't progress, and nothing came out of the Confederacy. If you read W.E.B. Du Bois, nothing. They produced no art. The only art that came out of there was the music of the enslaved Black people that were there, the blues and things like that. Absolutely nothing that the Confederates did, the ruling class. They created no art. It's a completely dead. It's just deplorable. We don't learn about how awful it actually was.
It's like the difference between Kid Rock and Bad Bunny. It's a modern equivalent of that difference. They didn't have artwork. The Confederates didn't create art. They were boring ass people. Boring ass people make boring ass art because they are afraid of creativity. They're afraid to express themselves.
Lefty Prof said it was the only thing was resistance art against the Confederacy, against the ruling class, the oppressive class. That's the only thing.
And now they're trying to teach that in like PragerU lessons as, oh, look, see, the slaves were happy. They made art. No, they weren't fucking happy. They made resistance art. They were mad. They were slaves. They were owned. We had rape farms and rape banks, and it sounds a lot like those never stopped either. We just now call them the Epstein files.
Yep.
Because all of that stuff continued. We still sell children as chattel in this country. We still sell girls and women as chattel in this country for sex and for slavery. And if you allow the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, the SAVE Act, if we allow that to go through, if you've ever watched Handmaid's Tale, guess what? That's it.
Yeah,
women don't have the right to vote. Women don't have the right to a job. Women don't have the right to money. Women don't have the right to property. Women don't have the right. Others don't have the right. White men have the right. That's what they want. That's what this SAVE Act is. And thanks to Melissa Corrigan and Dana Dubois, this is something that we all know about. At least all of us on Substack know about. And it's our duty. It is our obligation, not even our duty anymore. It's the obligation. And I'm going to correct this message, or I'll restack it with, if you're a stater and a male, it's your obligation to do this, not just your duty, because a duty is a choice. You can choose to do it. Obligation is something you have to do. It is your obligation to talk about this and the damage that it will do to you, to your friends, to your family, to others, to everyone, because white supremacy hurts everyone. The mental anguish or the mental stress that you are going to have to live with as a male, to have to pretend to dominate your significant other or your child or somebody else, is going to exhaust the fuck out of you. It's going to exhaust and it's going to hurt you. I don't want the obligation of managing my wife's vote. One, that's not fair to her. And two, it's definitely not fair to me. I don't want that. I don't want her right to vote. I don't want to own her right. Just like I look back and I wish I had never asked my wife to take my last name. Not because I'm not glad she did. I'm happy she has my name. I'm happy we are a unified family and we have one single name. To me, it wasn't about anything other than we have a togetherness in our name, and that we are, when people see us, they know we are a unit of we love each other, but not in an ownership way, in a partnership way. And it's sad that all of this has been so poisoned because these people just hate women and anybody who isn't themselves. and really they hate themselves more than they hate anybody else. They hate themselves so much that they just spew it out on everybody else. And that's what this SAVE Act is. That's what this is, because it's targeted at immigrants, but it's certainly not. It's about taking the right to a vote away. I'll be right back again.
Yeah. Oh, Elizabeth, do you have any thoughts? I'll let you, since you're a wonderful guest.
Well, I can tell you a story
Yes.
in my family about that changing of names and everything. I have a cousin, my favorite cousin ever. She didn't know that she was my cousin until she was like 15, because her father died when she was 1 year and a half, and he was my mother's youngest brother. And then she married this guy, and she once she said, okay, I want to honor my father. I would have had, if I were in Ecuador, okay, I would have had my father's last name, and I don't, because my stepfather adopted me. And now that I'm married, she was Chela Glenn, and she changed the name, and now she is Chela Garcia Glenn, which is she put her father's name first and her husband's. Now then she will have problems about voting, probably.
Yeah.
And her daughter did the same. So my niece, she's Ari Garcia Glenn. She adopted the grandfather's last name. Yeah, and she was so proud about being Latin that she did that. She wanted to show that.
Yeah. Yeah. These personal expressions, these infringements upon our rights and our right to personal expression, it's all tied together. And yeah, this is just, it needs to be changed. We need to start standing, and we need an opposition party that stands up for our right to vote, which we don't have either. And that's why Nick's message here is so important. Keep calling them out, because our passive Democrats will just sit there and allow our votes to be stolen and things like the SAVE. They'll everybody should be mad. I guess that's what I'm getting. I'm starting to spit. I'm starting to get mad. So I was just like, be mad. It's all right.
I think, everybody should be mad about it. Like, I think if you're not mad, you have a problem. If this does not create an emotional response to you, like, what is actually wrong with you? Yeah. What is wrong with you? If the idea of taking rights away from people is okay with you, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
What's your problem? What's your problem?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, tell me, what's
out.
your fucking problem, person? Like, it's a you problem, not a me problem.
Yes.
Never in the history of America have we taken the right to vote away.
Yeah.
Never in our history have we fully taken. Yes, we have restricted.
Yeah.
We have put some restrictions on, and Jim Crow is a perfect example of restrictions. But once a right to vote has been given and guaranteed, it has never been fully taken away. It has never been taken. And I'm saying this full well knowing that Black people's rights in America have been trampled upon since the Confederacy and before, especially around voting. Women have been trampled on since the beginning of America. The SAVE Act is a poll tax, is a document tax, is an ID tax. The idea that you, after registering to vote and providing your basic form of government issued identification and maybe a voter ID card, it is on the government to disprove your status as a citizen. It is not on you to prove your status as a citizen. You've already done that by registering to vote. It is then on the government to disprove. The burden of proof in the United States is on the accuser, not the accused.
Yeah.
The burden of
Yes.
proof is on the accuser. You as a citizen are guaranteed the right to vote. Never in our history have we tried to repeal fully the right to vote and succeeded. If this goes through, the SAVE Act goes through, the next step is the repeal of the 19th Amendment. That is the next logical step and conclusion, which means the right to vote is gone for anyone who is not white, male, and property owning. That is the end goal. You do not give this up without a fight, because we need to fix the way that Americans talk about voting.
Yes.
We have been convinced that voter IDs and the need to restrict access to voting by IDs and other things is the burden of us to continually prove our citizenship. The burden is on the government, because you are innocent until proven guilty. You are citizen until proven not. The onus needs to be flipped. We are the mechanism to flip that script, because the SAVE Act is dangerous as fuck. And if we start talking about it and say what it really is Jim Crow and poll tax, voter IDs, flip and talk about it on burden of proof, because people understand how our legal system works. People understand what it means to be innocent until proven guilty, to be citizen until proven not. That burden is on the government and not on you. It should not be on you to continually prove, just like gay people or LGBTQ community, it's not on them to continually out themselves or come out to prove their existence. It's on the government to say if you're not. And that burden of proof is really, 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 really fucking high.
Yes.
Really high. Like, once you're registered, it should be nearly impossible to make it so that you're unregistered or uneligible to vote. This is the opposite. They want to make it as easy as possible. So,
Yes.
staters,
That's
get out there and start making emails and phone calls. 5calls.org has good information. Dr. Eric Lulov put out a really good email body that you can copy and paste and just put your senator's name in it and say, demand that this be shot down so that women and anyone who is not male has the ability to actually vote safely.
Do you have mandatory voting, Elizabeth, in Venezuela? Is it mandatory?
No, it's not.
Okay.
But
it wasn't Peru.
Yeah, I don't have to vote if I don't want to, and that's in the Constitution we approved in 1999.
Okay.
It changed from mandatory to optional. You can do it or you cannot if you don't want to, which I think is fine by me. But there is a very since Chavez to here, every government tries to register as much as they can, like the new voters, because part of our the segregation we had like 30 years ago was the voting. It was like poor people, they didn't have time to go to a place like very far to register, so they didn't vote. So like a few people voted and it was fine for them, for the the status quo. And then when Chavez came, he said, no, now we're gonna put centers as close as we can of everybody. It's like you don't have to walk more than a kilometer to register. In every metro station, there was people registering, and it was a voluntary work. So you just had to go to the central place in charge of that, which in Venezuela is a power called Consejo Nacional Electoral. And they give you like a letter that said that you were able to register people. And the only thing you needed was, or is, your ID, which we have an universal ID for everything. So you just needed to have an ID and a receipt. So they, you could choose the closest center to your house to vote. And we vote mostly in the schools, which are like everywhere.
Yes, that makes sense. Yes,
that's what we used to do. Was at least when I was in younger, I knew the polling stations in my hometown were our schools. Like it's a safe area to go vote at. People know where it is. It's easy to get to. It's central.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's always on Sunday.
Oh, good. Yes.
It's like nobody works on Sundays except for malls or things like that. And by law, they have to give you time to go vote. Okay, so it's not like if it's your schedule to work today, you don't vote. No, they have to give you an hour or two to go vote.
Good.
And on Sunday, it's like everybody can do it because most people don't work on Sundays.
Yeah, we don't have those protections at all in the United States. It's absurd.
No, voting days should be if they want to make voting like a single day event in the U.S., like that's what they're talking about. Like okay, then we need to have paper ballots, and you need to make every vote or every state have a day dedicated where every single person is guaranteed the ability to go vote, not just given the opportunity.
Yes.
But it's a holiday where you are guaranteed the right to vote, where the city comes around with rented vans and says, hey, we are the voting bus. We are the school bus for votes. And you just hop on the school bus and it brings you to the school, you go vote and you come back home. Like that's that's as easy as it should be.
It's very funny because, the government does that. And then the opposition says, you shouldn't do that. People should have to go by themselves. And it's not like they are not asking for,
isn't that just like an
ID
extension
that
of
says
using
you are
a
not
public
from
bus?
this party or you are from this party? No, anybody can get in the bus and go voting. But they don't like that because it's like, okay, so poor people will vote because they are the ones that don't have a car to go voting.
Because it's not about equality in this. It's about equity. It's about having an equitable ability, and it's having the equitable ability to go vote, not the equal ability to go vote, because that just means that polling stations are open and you're allowed to vote. Equitable solutions include buses and transportation systems that are paid for by the state, either in a full country, as in the state overall, or in the USA, the states or the feds can help facilitate this by providing public transportation. Because what's the difference between getting on a public transportation bus and getting on a school bus to go vote? They're the same. You've paid for both already. They're publicly available.
It's your bus, actually.
Yeah, it's a bus. School buses are our buses. We paid for those with our taxes, which means we should be able to use them as part of our voting ability to go into communities, any community, rich, poor, middle, anywhere, every community equally, just like school buses do. They have a stop. If you want to get on to go vote, you get on. Buses come, they bring you to the center, you go home. You know why? Because that's equitable. That's an equitable solution because not everybody has cars. Not everybody can walk places. Disabled people can't walk places all the time.
Yes. We use that same equitable thing for pretty much everything. It's like in the past, everybody had the opportunity, there is the university. You just have to sign in. And that's a lie because, it's like if you are very poor and there is no enough universities close to your house, then you will never go to the public university in Caracas because it's too far, because you have to go there and sign up, and you need a hotel for the night. You don't have the money for that. And for us, it's like you have to give more opportunities to whoever has less possibilities to reach that. Okay?
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
and that was very, very much something that like middle class people like didn't like too much. It's like you're taking my opportunities. No, we are not. It's just for you, it's very easy to have that opportunity, to have access to that. So the government needs to help those that don't do it because they can't.
And I think this, since we're also nearing the top of our 2-hour mark, I want to also be able to shift to your note, Elizabeth, because yours gives us a really good closing point to this discussion to return back to the celebration of culture and art. And you were talking about, you sent me this and I wanted to be able to play the video that came up on Instagram from it. It is in Spanish. So if you don't understand
it's not in Spanish. That's why. No, it's not. The guy is, I think it's English.
Oh, it has a Spanish. I know it has a Spanish subtitles then. So maybe he's speaking in English with a Spanish translation. English.
Yes, for us, awesome. Probably.
Oh, that's fantastic. I didn't listen all the way through. I saw it in Spanish and I didn't unmute it, so I didn't hear it the first time. This is really awesome. And
there are 2 videos. You don't have to play it now, but I want you to share it because I don't have I have 800 followers. I'm not followers, subscribers, maybe more followers, but there are 2 videos there. One is about our beautiful places and the other one is about our beautiful people.
Well,
and they are both in English, which is not easy to find. So that's why I put it there.
Well, then I'm going to share this tab for a second and we're going to hopefully hear it. Because this is the one about the beautiful places. This is the second link for the beautiful places. Nature is so amazing, and we should be able to revere and explore it everywhere. And I cannot wait to get the opportunity to go to South America one day to visit Venezuela because I've been to Panama.
My house is your. You say home, okay? Mi casa es tu casa. You can come here.
Touristic potential in Venezuela is the greatest of any country I've ever been to. The highest waterfall on the planet, sand dunes touched by the Sahara Desert, snow-capped Andes Mountains, the world's most intense lightning storm happening in the same spot over 250 nights a year. Amazon rainforest, high-altitude lagoons, German settlements that'll make you feel like you're in another continent, safaris in the Llanos, some of the best beaches in the world, crystal clear beaches, wild beaches, virgin beaches, quiet beaches, party beaches, all the beaches, scuba diving, rafting, world-renowned kite surf, windsurf, any surf. One of only 17 mega diverse countries in the world. Landscapes that don't even make sense. Multiple indigenous groups that will take you in and show you how they live. Rivers that meet and seem to not even mix. Arguably the best cacao on the planet. Cultural festivals. Over 90% of the world's tepuis. Incredible food and even better service. All within one single country. And with a talented population that's been waiting decades for the chance to welcome foreigners. And maybe, just maybe, we're closer to that than ever. The touristic potential in Venezuela.
I don't know if everybody could hear that, but I loved it. Okay, awesome. I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
The beauty of I love it too because, I love that guy because he moved to Venezuela after going to he's an influencer who travels. And then he decided to live here.
Yep. Yep, that's the way it goes.
That's how it should be, to be
Yep.
honest. That's how it should be. Is you should want is when you travel, eventually you find a place that you love so much that you want to stay there. And it's fun when people do that. It's fun to see when people
Yeah.
do that, and that there's so much beauty outside the US. And yes, the US has a lot of beauty. The states have so much beauty inside them. We have such
Yeah.
diversity because
Yeah.
we are a massive nation. And there's so much more beauty outside the US that we don't have here too, that you should and absolutely need to explore. Because four of the 7 sloth species in the world live in Panama, but not in the US.
Yeah.
Places around the equator that are closer to the equator, like Venezuela, like Panama, like Colombia, like Ecuador. These countries have so much rich, vibrant, beautiful nature in them that you cannot experience here in the US.
Mhm.
And you should. You should go and experience it because it's worth it. I've gotten to swim in the ocean off the coast of Panama on the Pacific coast, and it was warm and beautiful, and I got to surf and explore and enjoy and live into a culture that was just settled and relaxed and gentle. And you don't always get that here, and we're taught that we don't need that here, and that's part of the problem. And so go visit when you can. Don't feel bad if you have the ability to go travel. Don't feel bad if you are able to go on a vacation to another country. When you're there, go love and learn about that country, though. Take the time to get away from the vacation spots and go actually learn about the people of the country, and go explore and talk and find small restaurants that are off the beaten track where you don't know the language, or maybe you do, and you can go in and talk to them and say, hey, I found your restaurant. I see only locals are here. Is it okay if I eat here? And I bet you the answer is going to be yes. And you're going to probably get the best food you've ever had too. And it's going to be probably the best conversations you've ever had and the most enjoyable atmosphere you've been in, because you can just experience what local culture is like without pressure of pretending that you are better than them. Because you're not, you're just going down there and having fun and being a person. And that's what I love. Like, I like getting to know you, Elizabeth, so much, because I get to know, I have learned so much about Venezuela and your culture just from like 3 or 4 conversations with you, and things that I have never known before. And I'm so glad that I do, because my outlook on Venezuela and my opinion of how we're seen outside the US, outside the States, but how we can present ourselves too, has shifted. Has been, you have helped teach me in a good way, like what others see of us and how we are seen by some, and what it looks like, and what the beauty is. Reminded me again of the beauty outside the US, because I've been outside the US plenty, and I know there's so much beauty, but it's sometimes we need that reminder that there's so much we don't know about. And I'm glad I've had the opportunity to learn from you in these discussions and get to experience the beauty that you share. So thank you.
Thank you. I know a lot about the United States because I have a lot of family there. So it's beautiful too.
Yeah.
It
But
is.
I've been to those places, all those places in that video. I've been there.
Nice.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And so as we get here to the end of our 2 hours, amazing 2 hours here, is I'd love, Elizabeth, I'd love to be able to sell, let me rephrase. I'd love for you to be able to shamelessly promote yourself and unabashedly talk about how amazing you are, and where people can support and find your work, and what you're doing, because like I just said, I've learned so much in just such a short time from just listening and just getting to hear what you and Walter were talking about earlier, and the discussions you have and the views you have. Please, how can people support you?
Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Go ahead, Elizabeth. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I didn't listen the last thing.
We just said, tell people about your Substack.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. I'm there. That's it. I when when I put that, I didn't want to put my picture because I was kind of shy, so I just changed it with the program. I was afraid of artificial intelligence and things like that. You know, it was a little paranoid, but that's me.
Beautiful.
It
Well,
looks younger, but that's me.
I
it's
was gonna say,
amazing.
you look a little bit like the picture my daughter drew. She's got the same color hair over in the corner of our picture here. And it's like she's been doing
Yeah.
profile pics. So I should send that. It's like, I think that you got beautiful, beautiful hair. So I just thought that was a nice little, today is a day of serendipity. Everything is coming together.
Yeah, it is. It's been a wonderful day. This has been so much fun. Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth, for
Yeah,
joining
and
us.
as I told you the first time, Nick, if anyone want to ask me something, just do it. I usually answer.
Yeah,
I try to. Actually,
appreciate
people
it.
just ask some weird things, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
answer.
I appreciate that you're so like willing to answer questions too. And I'm just so glad that you're here and that I've gotten to learn from you and to experience your personhood and who you are. And it's been fun. It's been amazing. This
Yeah,
whole
I think
Substack
I've learned a
experience-
lot from you too. I like
Thank
it very
you.
much. I love learning.
Thank you. And
I
I'm
love
glad
people.
you do. Yeah. And Walter, moving to our next friend, Walter, how about you? Promote yourself. How can people support what you're doing?
Oh, everybody, it's just a delight having everybody here. And it's been so fun talking to Elizabeth. And yeah, please just sign up, become a free or paid supporter. Everything is great. And we have to continue to build ourselves up so that we can pressure our representatives to do the things that we're talking about, to ensure that we have free and fair elections in the United States, to change the conversations about these things. And so many people who are good people in the United States have been indoctrinated to believe things that just aren't true, or worse, they believe that they aren't allowed to speak out and they aren't allowed to express the things that they're worried about. But the note I shared today, 580 people shared that note because it's a common thing. We're all thinking it. It's all just beneath the surface. Our frustrations, our fears, they're all one. We're all one people. And we all want the same things. So it's only the small group that's in power that's oppressing and exploiting us. So it's through this community that we can find our power. We can remind each other to speak out when we see an injustice, that we need to speak out, overcome the resistance that's been indoctrinated into you, learn from wonderful people like Elizabeth and Nick, and we'll just keep talking. We'll keep building, keep bringing more people into this conversation. We'll continue to have more power. And we're going to win. We're going to make a better world, because what other purpose is there in life than to aspire to create a better world for all the people and all of our wonderful friends?
Exactly.
Thank you.
You do a great job at it too, Walter. Thank you.
Thank
I'm so glad I've gotten to know you, my friend. And finally, come support me here at Sick of This Shit Publications as we continue to grow and add new discussions, have these wonderful talks. You'll see me later again this afternoon with Arturo Dominguez for an intelligent masculinity discussion to hear about his story and his journey through masculinity and into who he is as a person today. It's what I talk a lot about. It's cultural. We have to shift our culture, and men, it's on us to shift ourselves. It's on us to work on ourselves, to be the ones who take the burden of doing our own hard work and not forking over responsibilities or outsourcing those to others. It's on us to do it. And that's what we're doing at Sick of This Shit Publications. With these discussions here on Notes of the Week, with the intelligent masculinity, with chronic illness discussions on chronically illing out, that's what we're doing, is breaking down this cycle of othering and bringing ourselves to a place where we can actually talk to each other as humans with dignity and with value, just because we have it, not because we were given it by somebody else, but because inherently everybody has value. And so come join me. I'd love the support, free or paid. Also, we did just open a new shop, so I'll put that QR code up here too. in the top corner there, I'll hide the other one and I'll put the little QR code up, is come join the Sick of This shop. Come get some merch. There's Notes of the Week merch in there, with a sweatshirt and a coffee mug of either left or right-handed coffee mugs, depending on your hand preference. And if you like the primary image facing out or in, you can get a coffee mug that fits and suits you. Because I'm left-handed and I want the primary image to be able to face out in my left hand so that everybody can see the awesome design that my friend made. And then when I switch it to my right hand, you can see the awesome design Walter made on the back of the mug. And so come hang out, come take part in the Sick of This shop, get your merch today if you want. And then, like I said, join Sick of This Shit Publications, join Walter at I'd Rather Be Writing, and join Elizabeth Raven at her Substack, because all of these opinions and all of this knowledge is so valuable and so needed. And we're going to create our way out of this. And that's what we're doing right here. So thank you to the now over 400 people on Substack that are with us. Thank you to the others who are on Twitch or YouTube with us. We appreciate all of you for being here. Have a wonderful day, because we're sick of this shit here and we're now doing it. So let's go and take this on and go be creative. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Elizabeth.